I had some other things to do this morning, but it looks like I might have received a challenge. And folks, if you have questions or even challenges for me, I'll gladly accept them. I'll accept challenges from your preachers, from all the way to the man at the top of your food chain, the man at the Vatican himself. I accept any challenge, scripturally. Because I have confidence that, for the most part, I know what I'm talking about in the scripture. And if somebody points me to a truth that I have not seen yet, that I have not looked into yet, and I cross-reference it and find that it's true, then I'm all for it. I'm happy to change if I know that if I'm proven to be wrong. Okay? The question is, will you? So, somebody watching my video doubling down on the identity of Apollo in Revelation 9 and the locusts. So John Fast, now he uses Revelation 9, so I'm going to counter him using Revelation 9. He says Revelation 9 is a figurative picture of Islam. So it's only figurative? So what you're saying is the words of John are not real. I'm asking the question, okay? And its destruction it has wrought on the earth through the centuries. Apostle John was seeing into the future, of course. This is my story and I'm sticking to it. So I countered him with this. So how does Apollyon factor in with Islam, since ancient Rome highly regarded Apollyon and Islam did not? Are you just going to ignore the fact that Titus, the destroyer of Jerusalem, was the commander of the 15th Legion, called Legio, not Legion, but Legio 15 Apollinaris? Titus, the destroyer of Jerusalem, the commander of the 15th Legion, named after Apollyon. Apollo. Revelation 9 verse 11 says, and they had a king over them, which is the messenger of the abyssus, not the bottomless pit. You see, the abyss, the Greeks' term for the abyss was the Mediterranean Sea. Now, the Roman term for the Mediterranean Sea was our sea, as in the Roman Sea. I'll get all that in just a minute. Now, the Hebrew term for the sea was the Yam, pronounced Y-A-M. It is absolutely necessary to understand those definitions, cultural terms and language terms of the Mediterranean Sea in those days. If you do not, then you will not understand. You will be tripped up by the likes of Joel Richardson and Waleed Shoebat, who are doing their utmost to point the finger away from the Catholic Church and the Protestants and towards Islam, as if somehow the church was innocent of all the blood shed in the last nearly 2,000 years. Blood, Jewish blood, and all the blood around the earth. Guilty. It is impossible to ignore, but I want to focus on this today. Okay, so Revelation 9 verse 11, they had a king over them, which is the messenger of the Abyssus, which is the Mediterranean Sea. Let's go there. Now you see what King James Version did. Now, Berean Literal Bible says the key, the pit of the abyss. Now, what rises out of the abyss? Well, let's first go to Daniel. Daniel 7 and verse 3, and 4 great beasts came up from the Yam, or the Yam, the sea. Came up out of the Yam. And all these descriptions are like, you know, the great beast of the last days. So, hold on. So we'll stop right here, all right, and we'll go to I don't need this YouTube thing anymore. We're going to go to Bible Hub because I'm done with the questioning him or answering his question. Revelation is either 12 or 13. I think it's 13, but I get those two mixed up. I'll start with 12 just to make sure. That was 13. The beast out of the sea. You see? You see right there? From the sea. Let's go to Strong's Concordance. I stood upon the sand of the bottomless pit. Is that what it says? Thalassa. That's another Greek name for the Mediterranean Sea. And I saw a beast rise up out of the Thalassa, having 7 heads and 10 horns. All right. So, which sea would that have been? Would that have been the Dead Sea? No. Folks, let's grow some brain cells, shall we? It's the Mediterranean Sea. This right here is not hard to understand. So what Daniel saw was also the Mediterranean Sea. So we go here. Wait a minute. I'm forgetting where I'm at. So what we do is we go to Strong's Concordance. And the 5th messenger sounded, and I saw a star fall from the sky unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the Abyssos, the abyss. It's a Greek word, folks. It is a Greek word. It means the deep sea. Oh, and let me show you this. All right. But I got to show you all the others before I think I'm done with Daniel 7. So let me show you this. Sometimes I have a hard time spelling. There we go. All right, you see this right here? What is the first line you see? Christ of the abyss, huh? Religious destination, San Frutuoso, metropolitan city of Genoa, Italy. And where is this abyss? Where is this Christ of the abyss? What abyss is he sitting in? The Mediterranean Sea! Come on, people! Cristo degli Abissi. So the abyss, the abyssos, as a Greek say it, is the Mediterranean Sea. Now, what did the Romans call the Mediterranean Sea? Latin, Mare Nostrum, our sea. Not your sea, but the Roman sea. Come on, people. So, where is Rome located? In the Mediterranean Sea. Do I have to get a picture? Let's look. There's the Mediterranean Sea. Where is Rome? Rome is right here. Right there, right in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. When Daniel said the yam is the Great Sea, it was called the Great Sea back in those days, okay? This is not difficult, folks. A third grader can understand this. If you give them the information and the right tools, a third grader can understand it. So why are people with beyond high school education, why are they unable to grasp it or understand it? So, let's look at the legion Apollinaris, the 15th legion. I proved just a day or two ago that Titus was the second offender, bringing in the abomination of desolation after he made Jerusalem and the temple desolate, just like Nebuchadnezzar did. Apollo's 15th legion. Apollyon is Apollo. We are talking about, folks, going back to Revelation 9, who in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue his name is Apollyon, destroyer. Where does Islam talk about this? I'm not done yet. I'm just getting started, folks. The emblem of this legion was probably a picture of Apollo or one of his holy animals. We'll get to the picture in a minute if I can remember. Maybe I'll go back a little bit. This is one of his animals. Sometimes it has him on it himself, okay? One of his unholy animals, I mean. Now, so you have a long history, right? But the history I want to go to is this. Titus Flavius Vespasia, son of Vespasian, Titus the destroyer of Jerusalem. The one who brought in the abomination of desolation. And while I'm thinking about it, let us go to Daniel again. This time Daniel 9. Because I forgot to mention something that is critically important. I did mention it, but I did not go to the scripture to point it out. Just so everyone understands that Titus brought in the second abomination of desolation, I have the proof right here. Or that the Messiah in Matthew 24, when he was speaking about the abomination of desolation as spoken of by Daniel the prophet, he was not talking about in Daniel 11. Not that abomination of desolation. He was talking about the abomination of desolation that was in Daniel 9. And here it is in verse 27. Right here. And you see in King James it says, for the overspreading of abominations shall he make it desolate. Well, that's correct. The abomination of desolation. Right there, even King James got it right. And King James even got this right. Until it is consumed, and it would remain so until that is determined, shall be poured out upon, it should read the desolator. But it just says the desolated or appalled. But if you go into the prophets, you will see over and over and over. And even in Revelation 17 and 18, it talks about how reward her as she did unto you. Okay? So right here in Daniel 9, the abomination for the, and it was placed on the wing. Right here, the kanaf, the wing, the abomination of desolation would be placed on the wing after the temple was burned. All right. We'll go back to, and who did this? Titus. Titus did this from 67 to 74, and right in the middle is when it happened, on the year 70. As you can see, Titus Flavius Vespasian was the commander of, in 67 to 68, he was the commander of the 15th Legion, Apollinaris, named after Apollo, until his father Vespasian made him the commander of the whole force coming against Jerusalem. So you want to say that Apollyon and Islam have something to do with each other. Actually, they're not really. There was something else that I wanted to point out. Let's see here. See if it gets closer. All right. Watch this. Not that it's important. What I just pointed to you is important, but I just want to show you something. I won't. No, that's not necessary for right now. All right. We'll go back to so in the fifth trumpet sound. Now that we've got context, a star or an asteroid, the word in Greek is aster or asteroid, fell from the sky to the earth. And to autos. Autos can mean he, she, or it was given the key to the Abyssos, as we know now, is the Mediterranean Sea. So who exactly was given the key to the Mediterranean Sea? If Yehoshua has the keys of heaven, I'll show it to you. Before I finish with this, continue with this, I'm going to show you in Revelation, is it 3 or 2? We'll go to Revelation 2. No, it's actually in Revelation 3. Now that my memory is serving me correctly. Watch this. To the messenger of the congregation in Philadelphia, write, these things says he that is holy, he that is true, he that has the key of David. The keys of the kingdom of David were never given to anybody except Yehoshua. So the narrative about the keys of heaven, so to speak, as they say, is a false narrative. But they're keys to something. They're keys to something else by default. Because, as you see right here, the one that has the key of David and opens it and no man shuts it is Yehoshua. Now what we're going to do is this. Emblem or keys of the Vatican. Looky here. So clearly, Yehoshua still has the keys of David, the keys of Jerusalem, where he'll let people in and nobody can stop them. Or he can lock the door and nobody can come in. So that is the great key. The key of David is the key. This right here is something else. As a symbol of papal authority. Keys. The keys of the abyss. The keys of the Mediterranean Sea. The key of Rome. The keys of the abyss, the Abyssos. And he opened up the Abyssos, and there arose smoke out of the Abysso, or the well. Okay, so just means a cistern. Now, It just means the abyss. You see that? The abyss is the Mediterranean Sea. So here let's not be deceived. Let's grow some brain cells. And there came out of smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as scorpions of the earth have power. Like scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded that they should not hurt the grass or the earth. See, locusts eat grass. But these locusts don't eat grass. They didn't eat grass. Neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which do not have the seal of Jehovah in their foreheads. What does that mean? Killing each other. You didn't bother to read Haggai 2, verses 18 through 22? Were they going to kill each other? You didn't bother to read Zechariah 14? Watch this. I've done this over and over and over again concerning Zechariah 14. A plague. Now this says the destroyers of Jerusalem will be destroyed. I just mentioned that. Daniel 9 just mentioned that. Daniel 9 basically says right here, until that is which is determined shall be poured out upon the desolator, is what it should say. So the whole day of Jehovah's comes, and all of this, that happened. That was Titus. That was the general of the Mediterranean Sea, of the abyss. He came. And he came to Jerusalem to battle. And he took the city. And the houses were destroyed. And the women were cut down. Not ravished, they were cut down. They were laid down. They were slept dead. Of course, they were raped too, but they were cut down, they were murdered. Then it says half of the city, does it say half? Half of the city went into captivity. And the rest of the people, they were all cut down. And King James says, shall not be cut off from the city. Why did King James do this? Because King James wanted to make that future tense rather than past tense. But he got caught. King James translators got caught. It does not say shall not be cut off. They were cut down. The rest of the people were cut down. Now, then shall the day comes when Jehovah goes forth and fight against the Goy. So when he comes with the second coming of the Moshiach, it will be to come after those Gentiles who destroyed Jerusalem. And who led the way? The messenger of the abyss. Their leader was the leader of the Legion of Apollyon. You see. But what's going to happen? Hold on. I almost missed it. Verse 12, and this shall be the plague, the blow, the slaughter, the plague, the pestilence. Jehovah will smite the folks that fought against Jerusalem. Rome and all their legions, including all the Arab legions, including all the German legions, all the, yes, etc. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. Folks, you got to understand that the plagues that are written in Revelation are the same plagues that are written here in the prophets. And their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Why? Well, how is this going to happen? He goes on to explain. In that day, now it doesn't say it shall come to pass in that, it just says in that day, a great tumult from Jehovah shall be among them, and they will lay hold, man on the hand of his neighbor, on the hand of his friend, on the hand of his companion, on the hand of his fellow, on the hand of his ally, on the hand, now brother, okay? Japheth. He had sons. His sons were brothers, were they not? The sons of Japheth today are now essentially, notice I qualified with the word essentially, because not every single one in Russia is of Japheth, but essentially. You have Germany, France, United Kingdom, Switzerland, Spain, Portugal, Ukraine, you name it. They're all the sons of Japheth, essentially, with others mixed in them, including some people in the house of Israel mixed in among them, which are going to be taken out. Now, we can sit here and say, okay, you can sit here and say, well, that's not talking about whatever, whatever, whatever. Let's go to the sixth trumpet sound. The sixth messenger sounded, I heard the voice of the four horns of the golden altar which is before Elohim, saying to the sixth messenger, which had the trumpet, loose the four messengers which are bound in the great river Euphrates. So something is going to happen in the great river Euphrates that's going to cause a horrible, horrible destruction of 1/3 of mankind on the face of the earth. You would think that if Russia, the United States, Europe, and whoever else would read this, they would stay the heck out of the Euphrates River. But no, they're so arrogant that they're going to do something one day. Something's going to happen. And all Jehovah will do is turn loose the four messengers which are in the Euphrates River. And this is the tumult that Jehovah is going to lay upon all the people, all the nationalities who came against Jerusalem. Who was the leader of that? The leader of the 15th Legion, Apollyon. The legion named after Apollyon, that leader of the 15th legion who is named after Apollyon was Titus, the destroyer of Jerusalem, the Roman, who became Caesar after his father Vespasian died. And the number of the horsemen were 2 myriads. 2 myriads. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you what that number was. King James did, but I'm not going to. No, it is 2 myriads. I heard the number, or I listened the number of them. So he can hear them coming. And I saw the horses in the vision, and in them that sat on them having breastplates of fire, and jacinth and brimstone. I've gone over this before. Russian ICBM missile, ICBM launchers. Now, let's look at the pictures of RT-2PM Topol. All right. There's one in particular that I saw that struck me as interesting. With the colors. See, I have all different colors on it, right? Okay. All right. How about that one? All right. Now you know what they look like when they raise their tail up in the air, the missile up in the air. You can see it. I heard the number of them. I saw the horses in the vision, and they that sat on them having breastplates of... All right, hold on. I saw the horses in the vision, and seated, not they that sat on them, and seated upon them, having a breastplate of fire. That would be red. And of hyacinth and brimstone. I've gone over this before. Hyacinth, dark purple or blue. So red, blue, and also would be green. All right. Jacinth. Let's go look that up. All right. Yellow red to red brown of zircon used as a gemstone. Now, also, now you will see, I did an extensive video on this. Now, the interesting thing are the red ones with the red on them are the Russian ones. And it has all different. So you got the yellow. See that? Got the yellow. Got the red, the yellows, and all that. And some of them have purple. You see. I know I've seen some with purple on them. Is it this one? If you look closely, I think you could see it. All right. This one has red on it. See that? I want to make sure that you guys don't think I can't get this to enlarge. There you go. This one has some red on it. Got some red and some yellow. Red and yellow. Red and yellow. You see that? This is seated on the horse, so to speak. And the horses had heads of lions. Let's look at it again. Lion has a wide head. Let's look at a lion's head. All right, male lion head. Well, obviously, horses don't have a head like a male lion, but take a look at this. All right, so we see this picture right here. Well, it just disappeared on me. You saw the lion head. You saw you see this right here, and this thing sits on top of it. Looks like a lion's head, something like it. This is the best that John could describe it. Let's keep on reading it. And out of their mouth issued fire, smoke, and brimstone. All right, let's look at it again. Out of their mouth issues fire and brimstone. And he goes on to describe that if you weren't paying attention to what we got going on today, you'd never understand it. For their power is in their mouth and in their tail. Let's look at the mouth again. There's the mouth right here. There's the mouth. And when it raises up, it's the tail. That's the reason why he says the power in their mouth and is in their mouth and in their tail. For their tails were like unto serpents, like a snake. When it raises up, it looks like a snake's tail. And that serpent, that tail, had head, a warhead, or multiple heads, like warheads. And they do. How many warheads does it have? Do you know? Let's see. Russian ICBM has warheads. Okay, so if we take 1189 divided by 310, now you'll know how many warheads are in each one of those. So let's do that. I know I'm going off on a tangent here, folks, but okay, so we got 1189 divided by 310. So, 4 warheads in each one of them? Just like it says, multiple heads. Now, let me show you something here. This ought to alarm you. So we just read the description of Russian ICBM launchers. Russia to decommission the Topol ICBMs in 2024 and convert to satellite launchers. You can do the math in your head and figure it out yourself. I'm not going to jump to any conclusions, but let's go back to Revelation 9. By these were the third part of men, a third of mankind killed by the fire, by the smoke, and by the brimstone. So let me ask you a question. What kind of smoke kills whole populations? Answer: nuclear smoke, nuclear fallout. Which was issued out of their mouth, because the power is in their mouth and in their tail. The only thing you can describe that as, the thing that is in their mouth and in the tail. In their mouth and in their tail. Jonah did not have much in those days to work with to describe them. He did the best he can. The mouth is here, the tail is there, the mouth and the tail. The power is in the mouth and the tail. And you can even use colors to figure out who's going to do the launching. Go look at American ICBMs and ask yourself, do they have the colors? How about the Chinese? Let's look at it. I don't know. I don't know if they do or not. They have a little bit of that color too. Russians more so. That's a North Korea one right there. Where's the American? That's China's. I've asked for USA made. Okay, so you want to know the answer? It's not just Russian. How do I know that? Zechariah 14. This shall be the plague wherewith Jehovah will smite all the people who fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away. Oh, it's, yes. While they're on their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth, and it shall come to pass. No, not it shall come to pass, but that day shall a great tumult from Jehovah. What is that tumult? Loose the 4 messengers that are in the river Euphrates. That is the tumult. shall be among them, and they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and on the hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. And Judah will devour Jerusalem, not shall fight at Jerusalem, shall devour, take all of Jerusalem, kick everybody out that doesn't belong there. Shall take Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the Gentiles round about shall be gathered, gold, silver, and apparel in great abundance. And the plague of the horse, of the mule, the camel, and of the ass, and of all the beasts that shall be in these tents, like the tents of Japheth, which is the reason why Japheth will have to live in the tents of Shem, because his tents will be no more. I think it's in Genesis 9, where Noah blessed Japheth, and his tents would be greatly enlarged, but he will be living in the tents of Shem. He won't have any more tents anymore, because he will have destroyed them. Every man's hands against his neighbor and against his brother. It was the Japhetic people and Syrians, etc., who came against Jerusalem in the days of Titus. Now, I hope I've answered the question. And concerning this, that particular, the guy said, I mean, if you want to continue to believe Joel Richardson and Wally Chubat's narrative, I'm not going to stop you, but I want to warn you about one thing. Let's see here. Our brother Paul. Do not wrest the scripture. Do not twist the scripture. Second Peter 3:15. And suppose the long-suffering of our Moshiach is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul, also according to the wisdom given unto him, has written unto you in all his epistles, speaking in those very things, in which some things that are difficult to be understood by those who are unlearned and unstable. And the reason why it's difficult for you is because you are unlearned and you are unstable. You only want to read it the way, interpret it the way you want to do it, or the way your preacher does, rather than using the tools that are available to you on your own. And you wrest, you twist the scripture, just like all the other scriptures, and you do so to your own destruction. So I have a request for everyone. Don't twist the scripture. Don't listen to the preachers who twist the scripture. Don't listen to preachers who ask for money. That's one easy way to avoid this. I've shown you how wrong it is for these preachers to ask you for money in any way. No, I don't. Look, these people who monetize their videos with religion, they're going to tell you exactly what you want to hear so that they will get more clicks. They get more clicks, they can monetize, make money. Well, this channel is not monetized, so it doesn't matter if one person listens to the video or 10,000, makes no difference. The message is going to be the same. The message is that is going to be is in Romans 11 verses 25 through 27. I would not, brethren, that you should be ignorant of this mystery, lest you, Romans, should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness, in part, has happened to Israel until the time of the Gentiles comes to the end. And so all Israel shall be saved. For out of Zion shall come the deliverer, and shall turn away unholiness from Jacob, because this is my covenant unto them, when I shall take away their sins. Yes, the new covenant is indeed for Israel.